Welcome into the Chiefs Report live on YouTube and live on Rumble. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Let's get the live chat going here on the Chiefs Report. Just have someone send it to you, Trace, and we can kind of reset for the Rumble audience. Shout out your city. Let us know where you guys are watching from. We'll get this thing going here. That's my fault. Get some shout outs here. It's the first one / the second one. Cool. Just let me know when you put it in and I'll kind of pause and reset. RJ in Wisconsin. We got Yoo-Hoo in Salt Lake City. Tony in Dallas. RJ in Wisconsin. Let's see. We've got Tony Fuentes in Dallas. Eli in Provo. Church in Tampa. Jay in Columbia. Eli in Provo. We got Sir Stacks-a-Lot in Bakersfield. Jose in North Bergen. All right, we welcome in our Rumble audience now. Now we're live on Rumble. Bit of a tech issue on my part. Should be good to go at this point. JJ in Tigard, Oregon. We got Antonio in Texas. Where in Texas, Antonio? We're in Dallas. PS4 in Columbia. We've got, let's see here, AJ in OKC. Oliver in Kansas City, Chris in Wichita, Kylie in Mexico. Kylie in Mexico, is that the Kylie Trizzy Trace?
That's the Kylie.
Is it actually?
Yeah, but she's not in Mexico, so I don't know what she's saying.
Oh, so she's lying.
Yeah, she's full of it.
I don't know. Seems suspicious. Seems suspicious, Trace.
Yeah, it seems like something I should be keeping an eye on.
Yeah. What, y'all?
Like Josh Allen's injury.
Have y'all not reached the point of sharing locations?
Not yet. Not yet.
Mista in San Antonio. That is hilarious. Got Michael in Hades. Let's see. Like the vid so the Chiefs win next week. Exactly. Like the video. Come on. Kylie and Trace, a true love story. All right, you tell me, what is your one-word reaction to the Chiefs win over the Titans? Bizarre? I don't know. It was weird. They got it done. A win is a win is a win. Jeremiah and Palmer Lake. We got oof from Jay. Wow from AJ. Incredible from Antonio. Oliver says close. MVP from RJ. One word, Patrick from Eli. Honestly, don't think we deserve that win. Hey, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Odin says ugly. Mahomes from Rogel. MVP from RJ. Toughness from RA. Stressful, yes, from PS4. Shocked from Bill Chase. Brian says ugly. Shad says lackluster. PS4, stressful. Nerve-wracking from Cole Keller. Yeah, it was, I think you guys are nailing it. It was ugly, it was nervy, it was stressful. They got it done, though. Clinching. Let's see. Lost my voice from all those horrible ref calls. It happens, doesn't it? Grateful from Chris. We played like trash last night, but our legendary quarterback brought it back in the end. That's true. King Henry. I don't know why they didn't run Derrick Henry more. He had 115 yards and 17 carries. They should have ran him a lot more. All right, who's going to be the number one seed in the AFC? Type KC for the Chiefs, BUF for the Bills. Get some shout-outs here, then we'll tell you about today's sponsor. KC for the Chiefs. Say what? Oh, I love established titles. Let's go. I'm a lord now, baby. Come on. Brian says Casey, Bill, Tony, Church. PS4 says Buffalo. They're both tied at 6-2, but the Bills do have the tiebreaker. From head to head, RJ says KC. Zeno says KC. Hate to say it, but Buffalo. Hey, shout out to the Jets for beating the Bills yesterday, though. Daniel says KC. I'm good, Tony. RJ says KC. KC all the way from AJ. Yeah, it's going to be a race, 6-2 through week 9 for each of these teams. Should be a lot of fun to see what happens. Today's show, the Chiefs Report, is sponsored by Established Titles. Established Titles is a fun and novel way to preserve the woodlands of Scotland while helping global reforestation efforts. It is a project based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds or lords and ladies in English. Title packs give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number on a private estate in Edelston, Scotland, and an official certificate with a crest. We plant a tree with every order and work with global charities, One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future, to support those global reforestation efforts. You could officially include the title Lord or Lady on your credit card, plane tickets, dating profiles, etc. Makes for a great last-minute gift this holiday season. The first 200 people purchasing a title pack using my link will effectively be next to my plot within a few minutes of walking distance. Depending on how many of you want to become a lady or a lord, we can build our own little Chiefs Report Kingdom. It makes an amazing last-minute gift. Like I mentioned, Established Tiles is actually running a massive early Black Friday sale right now with discounts up to 80% off. Plus, if you use the code CHAT, you can get an additional 10% off. Go to establishedtitles.com/chat to get your gifts now and help support the channel. 10% off with promo code CHAT at establishedtitles.com/chat. I am now a Lord. Producer Trace is Lord Trizzy Trace, and you can be a Lord or a lady as well. Lady Queen Elizabeth Reed bringing the heat last night. Hey, establishedtitles.com/chat, promo code CHAT. Should Patrick Mahomes win MVP? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Y for yes, N for no. What do you guys think? I'm going to make this the live poll, actually. Yes or no?
Let's also get like 10 more likes in the next minute. We're at 23 likes. Let's get to 30 like in the next minute.
Come on.
7. Come on.
Like the video. Lord Trizzy just said it. Rogel says yes. Jay the God says yes.
K. Chappell, you are 100% correct.
Eli says yes. What did K. Chappell say?
Yo, Trace, you got effed up last watch party. Ha ha. Facts.
Straight facts.
I want another Chiefs watch party. I need another one.
Got to run it back.
Gots to run it
Daniel
back.
says yes. Tony. Supreme Chief says yes. Eli says yes. Tony, absolutely yes. There we go, up to 36 likes. Close, but Jalen has it. I don't know, man. Mahomes is actually the betting favorite right now, by the way. RJ says yes. Mahomes has thrown for over 400 yards in each of the last 2 games. Gary Holland, RJ saying yes. As cool as it would be, I'd take a Super Bowl win. Obviously, we'd rather win the Super Bowl than Mahomes win an MVP, but you're telling me both can't happen? Why not? Why not? Tony Fuentes says yes. 100% Mahomes. From Mike, we shall see. Should be interesting. All right. If you want to get on the show today, 2 mailbags later on. Use hashtag Chiefs, or you can super chat to get your questions on the show. If you don't use the hashtag Chiefs, or if you don't use the super chat function, you will not get on the show. So use those 2 ways to get your questions in. Hashtag Chiefs or super chat. Load them up. That way Trizzy Trace, Lord Trizzy Trace, can get your questions on screen. Hashtag Chiefs or super chat. If you super chat, you can skip the line. All right, grade the Chiefs running backs. We're going to talk about the running back situation here in a few minutes because, I don't know, man. It's not looking great right now. I'd give it like a C- or D, honestly. It's not ideal. A, B, C, D, or F. Tony says B. RJ says D. Agent Naha says C. RJ says D. F from J. We got Supreme Chicken with a bunch of exclamation points. I don't know what that means. RJ says D. C-, bro. D from Brian. Gary Holland says F. Jeremiah says D. Bill Chase, F. JJ Hackett, B. B- from Supreme Chief 10. Maybe last night was just a one-off, but it's not like this running back room has been great this year. Grade it for me, A, B, C, D, or F. Like the video, and we're going to jump into today's Chiefs Report. A couple mailbags, Overreaction Monday. It's all coming at you right now. Happy Victory Monday, Chiefs Kingdom. Before we jump into today's show, I want you to like this video if you're fired up after the win against the Titans. I know it was a bit ugly, it was stressful, but a critical win as the Chiefs improved to 6-2 on the season. So if you're fired up on Victory Monday, go ahead and hit that like button. Welcome into the Chiefs Report. I am your host, Harrison Graham. Appreciate everybody for tuning in here on Overreaction Monday. That's exactly what we're going to do. React a little bit more to last night's win over the Tennessee Titans and get you caught up on the latest Chiefs news and rumors. 5 headlines I want to hit here on today's show, so let's go ahead and jump on into it. Should the Chiefs give running back Ronald Jones a look? I think it's an interesting conversation because the Chiefs running backs are not getting it done right now. And I get it. Tennessee's a tough matchup. That front is nasty. It's a really, really tough group to go up against running the football and to just block in general. As we saw, Patrick Mahomes was running around a lot, and this O-line was getting beat more often than not. But this right here just isn't going to cut it. 12 carries for 14 yards for the trio of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Isiah Pacheco, and Jerick McKinnon. I don't care who you're going up against. That just can't be the case. I mean, you got to find a few runs. How many times last night was it 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1? You're like, you got to throw the ball. Can't run it. I mean, you tried a fullback dive with Michael Burton, you got stuffed. You tried one with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he got about a foot and barely got the first down. They could not move the ball at all running the football, and Andy Reid said they didn't trade or cut Ronald Jones for a reason. There could be an opportunity for him to play at some point. He's been inactive for all 8 of the Chiefs' games, but this is a guy who, when they signed him, we were like, this is the guy that's going to push CEH for the starting role. And obviously he didn't have a great camp, but he had a good final preseason game, snuck onto the roster. And at this point, I would give Ronald Jones a look. Now, obviously, you got to figure out who you're making inactive for that to be the case, or you have to have 4 running backs active. I'm not making Jerick McKinnon inactive because he's your best pass catcher out of the backfield. I don't think I'm making Isiah Pacheco a healthy scratch because he's your kick returner. Now, you could put Kadarius Toney or McCole Hardman back there, but I still would like to have Pacheco active. Does that mean you have to inactivate your first-round pick, Clyde Edwards-Helaire? If that's the case, I might try it for a week to see if Ronald Jones can give you a spark, because as great as Patrick Mahomes is, having some semblance of balance makes a huge difference in the National Football League, and Patrick Mahomes had no balance last night. He had to put the team on his back, which we're about to outline. Grade the Chiefs running backs, A, B, C, D, or F. Grade them right now, how they've been playing as of late. I can't give it more than a D, man. It's been ugly. I mean, they just have not been able to run the football. Drop your votes down in the comments. And that brings us to point number 2. Is Patrick Mahomes the front runner for MVP? Should he win it this year? I mean, it certainly got a long way to go, but right now, I think he's the MVP, and the Vegas odds agree. He's a slight favorite over Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts right now. He's thrown for over 400 yards in each of the past 2 weeks against stout defenses, by the way, in San Francisco and Tennessee. Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow lingering a little further down here, but Patrick Mahomes this year through 8 games is completing 75.4% of his passes, 2,605 yards, 21 touchdowns against 6 picks, and a QB rating of over 103. I think he's the MVP right now. Look at what he did last night against Tennessee. He accounted for 485 of the 499 yards against the Titans. Yeah, obviously the receivers caught a lot of those, but this team had no semblance of a running game. He led the team in rushing, by the way, with 63 rushing yards and a touchdown, including a 3rd and 17 conversion and a touchdown run, plus a 2-point conversion to tie this game up. I mean, he literally put the team on his back last night to grind out a win over a game Tennessee squad. I think he's the MVP right now. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out the rest of the year. What do you guys think? Should Mahomes win MVP? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Get your votes in down in the comment section of this video. Now, today's show is sponsored by Established Titles, as Established Titles is a fun and novel way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland while helping global reforestation efforts. It is a project based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds or lords and ladies in English. Title packs give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number on a private estate in Eddleston, Scotland, and an official certificate with the crest. We plant a tree with every order and work with global charities One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future to support global reforestation efforts. You could officially include the title of Lord or Lady on your credit card, plane tickets, dating profiles, etc. It makes for a great last-minute gift First 200 people, by the way, who purchase a title pack using my link, establishedtitles.com/chat and promo code chat, will be within a few minutes of walking distance. That is where your plot will be next to mine. Depending on how many of you want to become a lord or lady, we can build our own Chiefs Report kingdom. It makes for an amazing last-minute gift. Established Titles is actually running a massive early Black Friday sale right now with discounts up to 80% off. Plus, if you use the code chat, you get an additional 10% off. Go to establishedtitles.com/chat and use promo code chat to save an additional 10% off this holiday season and help support the channel. I'm Lord Harrison Graham. We've got Lord Trizzy Trace producing today, and you can become a lord or lady as well with Established Titles. Let's keep it rolling here on Overreaction Monday. Kadarius Toney, he made his debut, so we'll talk about him just a little bit here as we got to see him for the first time in a Chiefs uniform. 2 targets early on in the game, had 2 catches for 12 yards. They clearly scripted a couple of easy completions to him. Only played 9 snaps, not a super big surprise. Coming over from the Giants, he hasn't played in a while. Still learning the playbook, obviously. Andy Reid himself said, we'll have a couple plays for him, but don't expect to see him a ton. I don't think he'll have a big role early on here. I think he'll really have a big role, obviously 2023 and beyond. I do think as the season goes on, he could get a little bit more involved. But with Mecole Hardman playing really, really well right now, I don't think they're going to start taking a lot of snaps from him. They can ease Toney into this, which is very, very nice. But it's another weapon at their disposal. He's got speed. And I agree with what Patrick Mahomes said, by the way. He's a little bigger than you think. I mean, he gets out there and you're like, wow, he's a little, he's 6 feet. He's a little jacked. As well. He's certainly bigger than Hardman, so it's exciting to see what he could potentially do. But keep the expectations kind of at bay right now. They're not going to force him into heavy action at this point in time. They're going to certainly ease him up to the plate in this wide receiver room. Now, subscribe to the channel if you love the Chiefs, if you're a member of Chiefs Kingdom, because we're publishing videos every single day. We're going live for just about every single Chiefs game as well. We're almost at 33,600 subscribers. Help us get there today by hitting that subscribe button, and more videos will be coming your way here on the Chiefs Report. Are we concerned, or should we be concerned about Harrison Butker? Are there concerns for the Chiefs kicker, as he almost cost the Chiefs last night? I mean, it took a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to force overtime. That was after Butker missed a field goal and an extra point on Sunday Night Football. And by the way, the field goal wasn't a very long one. It was like 40 yards, I think, or something. You look at his season right now, 5 for 8 on field goals, not a great percentage. He's 1 for 3 on field goals between 30 and 49 yards. That's not very good. Does have a long of 62. We know about his strong leg, but missed an extra point last night too. I wouldn't say I'm worried, because this has been one of the most consistent kickers over the past, a half decade or so, but it is something to watch. I mean, the kicks aren't going as straight as they normally do. He hooked one last night, and then he pushed one as well. It was just off, man. He just didn't look like himself, and there's been a couple of those kicks this year where you're just like, he usually makes that one. He didn't make it. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. I'm not worried about it, but if it gets to the point where it costs you a game, then it's like, okay, that is something to be concerned about, because that could impact where this team ends up in the AFC playoff picture. Speaking of, the Bills lose, which means the number 1 seed very much in reach for Kansas City. It still would have been even if the Bills had lost yesterday, but obviously with the Bills winning the head-to-head matchup, that certainly helps them losing to the Jets. Shout out to Robert Saleh and the boys up there for taking down the Bills. Now you're tied win-loss-wise. Now the Bills have the tiebreaker. That's why they're first in the AFC. Jets and Dolphins a half game back right now at 6-3. Who would have thought that, especially with the Jets coming into the year? We'll see what Baltimore does on Monday Night Football. They're sitting at 5-3. A win tonight would push them to 6-3 as well. That's why last night's win, even though it was ugly, even though it was choppy, even though it at times was not fun to watch, it was critical. Because, by the way, had Tennessee won, they would have been 6-2 on the season. You look at the overall AFC playoff picture. This is based on the seeding, because obviously the Jets can't be the 3 seed with being in the AFC East as well. They are actually the 5 seed right now. But your division leaders, Buffalo, Kansas City, Baltimore, and Tennessee, those are the top 4 seeds. Jets and Dolphins at 6-3, and then Chargers at 5-3. You also have like I said earlier, the Ravens at 5-3, Cincinnati at 5-4, so are the Patriots, and then it's kind of a drop-off. You kind of have 9 teams competing for 7 playoff spots. I don't expect the Colts, Browns, Broncos, Raiders, or Steelers. Maybe the Browns if they can hang around and get Deshaun Watson back, but we'll have to wait and see on that front. Now, I think it's going to come down to these 2 teams for the number 1 seed. So what do you think? Who's going to get that top seed come playoff time? Type KC for Kansas City, type BUF for Buffalo. We'll see. The Chiefs got to finish a game ahead because they lost the head-to-head matchup, but should be a fun race during the second half of the season. Reminder to subscribe to the channel. We'll have you guys covered all season long, and as we get closer to the playoffs, we'll certainly do some playoff picture scenario videos, how the Chiefs can clinch the division, the number 1 seed, all that stuff. So be subscribed and don't miss any of our coverage here on the Chiefs Report. All right, we'll get some shout-outs here on the show. Yeah, it should be. Looks good. RJ says KC. Dale Webb, Frank, Dannon, Tony. Yeah, the only reason it's different from the standings is because standings is just pure record, but seeding is different because it's based on who's winning the divisions. Madison, Joe, Cole, all saying KC, RJ. MH says Buffalo has to play Miami again. Yeah, and we saw Buffalo last year. I mean, they lost some weird games. They lost to the Jags at one point. I mean, they're not invincible. We know that. No one is. So I think tying things up at 6-2 puts the Chiefs in a pretty good position moving forward. All right, hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get those questions on the show. A couple of mailbags coming at you today, so use the hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. If you Super Chat, you can jump the line, and we appreciate all donations. Otherwise, use the hashtag Chiefs to get your questions in, just like Kay Chappell just did, just like RJ just did. So if you have any questions about free agency, matchups, whatever, injuries, whatever you have, use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat, and we will get your questions on the show here on the Chiefs Report. Shout out PS4, getting his question in there as well. All right, let's jump into these mailbags. It is mailbag time here on the Chiefs Report. I am Harrison Graham. Appreciate everybody for submitting their questions. Continue to do so by using hashtag Chiefs or by Super Chatting to get your questions on the show, and we will answer as many as we possibly can. Jay with a question saying, would we be better with Tyron now or Justin Reid? Justin Reid's been kind of painfully average, to be honest. He's been fine. Tyrann Mathieu has 2 picks. Producer Trace, who covers the Saints for us, how would you assess Honey Badger's play? I'll be honest, I haven't been able to watch him a ton this year.
Yeah, so Tyrann Mathieu has definitely been a lifeblood for the Saints defense. The defense has taken a hit this year, but Tyrann Mathieu has been the only player to force interceptions for the Saints defense. He's had some pretty bad tackling issues this season. Yeah. He's definitely been brought in more for the leadership aspect than the on-field production. That being said, though, he is the only player with 2 interceptions, so he has the dog in him, but he isn't quite the Honey Badger like he once was.
Yeah, and that was kind of a theme, Jay, to finish answering your question last year. He wasn't tackling as well, and that's something that really stood out. But Justin Reid has kind of just been okay, too. I would say he has not lived up to that contract just yet. Jimmy with the question, how do you think Kadarius Toney will do against Jacksonville next week? We'll see. He played 9 snaps in his first game against Tennessee. Maybe that doubles 15, 20 snaps this week. Get to see something out of Kadarius Toney. One thing I was not surprised, but I thought we might see is him getting a chance to return punts. Maybe he gets to work in there. These are the numbers from him against the Titans. Like I said, 2 catches on 2 targets, 12 yards on 9 snaps. So obviously, he was not heavily involved in the game plan for Kansas City. But as he gets more and more comfortable, I think he'll get a little bit more involved. I don't know if he'll ever be like a full-throttle guy this year, though. I mean, they're so deep at receiver, and with the way Hardman's been playing as of late, Toney, they can afford to be patient with him and not force the issue, because this trade was not just about this year, but 2023 and beyond. You have him under team control for a few years now. RJ says, what is some needs for Kansas City next offseason? I think you need pass rushers. We'll see what happens with Frank Clark. I don't know if his future is in Kansas City. I like George Karlaftis, but I don't think he's a number one edge rusher at this point by any means. So I think you're going to need edge rushers. It's not a major need because it's not a massive position of importance, but I do wonder if upgrading running back could be in the cards. I mean, that is a weakness on the offense. The running back position is, early in the year I thought the rotation was working pretty well, but the last few weeks it's been pretty underwhelming, so keep an eye on that position as well. Bill Chase, hey Harrison, have you heard that Jeff Saturday got his first coaching job? Oh, I've heard. I was in shock when the Colts named Jeff Saturday their head coach. That would be like when Patrick Mahomes retired and had a consulting title with the Chiefs, because he'll always be involved with the Chiefs when he's done, barring something strange happening over the next decade. And then whoever the coach is gets fired, and you name Patrick Mahomes the head coach without any coaching experience. I mean, that is basically what the Colts just did. Hey, you're a lifelong Colts guy. Technically, you're under employment. Why don't you become the coach? That is wild to me. I can't. I mean, are they going to call Peyton Manning to call plays? I mean, it is something. I am surprised that they made that move. Dragon Fruit, should the Chiefs have traded for a running back before the trade deadline? I mean, I don't know who was available. I mean, we know Jeff Wilson got traded to the Dolphins. I don't know if he's like a huge upgrade over anyone you have, but it's been kind of underwhelming as of late. I think CEH kind of is who he is at this point. He's a decent rotation back. Pacheco, he's got talent, but he's a 7th-round rookie. Jerick McKinnon's a good scat back, but he's not an every down guy. It is what it is, man. The question is, should they give Ronald Jones a look? And we'll ask you guys, should Kansas City start playing Ronald Jones? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I'd give him a look. I mean, he has not been active at all this year. He should be plenty fresh. He should get an opportunity. They didn't trade or cut him for a reason. So, yeah, I would absolutely give that a look if I was Kansas City. Jay with the question, who loses their roster spot if we sign OBJ? I mean, would it be like a Justin Watson? Because you would have 7 receivers at that point. I would hope not, because I like Justin Watson. It'll be interesting to see what OBJ does, because this is a crowded wide receiver room. Don't get me wrong, OBJ is more talented than a lot of the receivers here, but coming off an ACL, I mean, if they signed him, would they plug him in as a starting wide receiver right away? I don't think so. Actually, I don't think that would be the case. So we'll see if the Chiefs end up being a destination for him. I'm certainly still interested in him, but this is a crowded room. There's places OBJ could go and get legit playing time right away and more of a bigger role than he could here in Kansas City. Shad Jameson, oh yes. Should the Chiefs pick up Cam Newton or Taysom Hill next year for goal line short yardage situations? I will say Andy Reid or Eric Bieniemy could get creative with Taysom Hill. What's his I know he's got that weird contract situation where the Saints gave him a bunch of money, but it's basically just year to year. Cam Newton, no chance. Cam Newton's not coming here. But Taysom Hill would be kind of fun as just a gadget player here. But yeah, I don't. He's under contract through next season, but I think they could cut him if they wanted to. But Taysom Hill still has a role in New Orleans. I don't think he's going anywhere. Church 816, after 68 pass attempts, what are we going to do about the running game? Is Niang alive? Well, Lucas Niang started to practice last week. We'll see if they can ramp him up and get him activated. I do think if he's healthy and full throttle, he's a guy I would give a look. I'll tell you one thing that we're probably not talking about enough. Orlando Brown has kind of been painfully average. I mean, I'm kind of over Orlando Brown. Now, I'm not saying I want to bench him or anything, but it's going to be a real discussion this offseason, I think, what ends up happening there. I think tagging him a second time is a real possibility. I don't see how you could pay him top dollar at left tackle with the way he's playing right now. We'll see how he plays the rest of the year. But, yeah, I mean, the offensive line doesn't seem to do as well in a running scheme, and I don't think these backs are that great. We've kind of outlined that. I don't think this running back room is that good. So, yeah, I mean, look, you don't want, even as great as Mahomes is, you don't want him to throw the football 70 times. I'll tell you that. Shout out to BetUS for sponsoring today's show. The best sportsbook partner in the game. We've got your game is their motto. Chatsports.com/ChiefsBet. That is the link to create an account today. Then use the promo code to get a 125% deposit bonus. And with Black Friday almost here, we're bringing back our jersey giveaway deal. That is from us, not from BetUS. So follow these steps. Go to chatsports.com/ChiefsBet to create an account. Use the promo code Chiefs125. You got to sign up and deposit at least $100. Then you'll get $125 for free with that promo code Chiefs125. That's where the deposit bonus comes in. Make a bet of any kind, $5 bet on the Chiefs, $5 bet on an NBA game, a prop bet, doesn't matter. A bet of at least $5. And then email us, jersey@chatsports.com. We've got Travis Kelce jerseys in stock, Patrick Mahomes as well, and Travis Kelce, I should mention. Spoke out of order there. But if you follow those steps, place a bet, you're paying $100 to get an additional $125 for free, so that's $225 total, plus a jersey worth over $100. You're spending $100 for about $340 worth of stuff in total. Pretty good deal. Jersey@chatsports.com. That is who you email after you follow the steps we previously mentioned. Get a free jersey today by signing up with BetUS. New customers only. If you're an existing customer, this does not apply to you. J Jets edits. Do you think we are going to trade Frank Clark in the offseason or release him? Well, Frank Clark, let me just double check here. They restructured his contract last year. I think it's just, I think he's a free agent next. Or no, he's got one more year on his deal. If they cut him next year, his dead cap hit is $9 million, and you save about $11 million. So, or no, you save $21 million. So cutting him is definitely a real possibility. They'll either restructure him or cut him. I don't think the team's trading for his contract. It's too big. But yeah, he will not play under a $30 million cap hit next year. I can promise you that. Now, name your all-time favorite Chiefs player. Surely it's not Frank Clark. Frank Clark's done some nice things, but surely he is not your favorite all-time Chiefs player. Let me know in the comment section who that player is. All right, we'll get some shout-outs, and then we'll get to another mailbag here. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get your questions on the show. Dante Hall, the X Factor, nice. Patrick Mahomes from J Jets and Christopher. Dale Webb says Eric Berry. MH says Mahomes. Chad Jameson says George Jameson. Jimmy says Jamal Charles. Tom Hood says Steve DeBerg. We got RJ saying Andy Reid. Passmaster says Eric Berry. Christian Okoye. Ozzy says Jamal Charles. Joe Montana, Andy Reid, Jamal, Kelsey, Derek Thomas. A lot of good ones there. Priest Holmes, Christian Okoye, Ryan Fitzpatrick. I see what you did there. All right, one more mailbag. Use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat, and we will get your questions on the show. I am Harrison Graham, and you are watching the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. And on today's show, we're going to answer all of your questions here on a mailbag. So use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat, and producer Trizzy Trace, Lord Trizzy Trace, can load up your questions today. Kate Chappell, Harrison, predict our record at the end of the season. So let me just pull up the old schedule Rooski here for the Chiefs. I think before the year I said 13-4. Right now they are 3-2. The remaining games: Jacksonville at home, win. That's 7-2. At the Chargers, I'll go win, 8-2. Rams at home, win, 9-2. At Bengals, I think at Chargers, at Bengals, you'll probably lose one of those. So I'll go loss between one of those two. So that gets you to 9-3. At Denver, 10-3. At the Texans, 11-3. Seahawks at home, could be a sneaky one. I'll go 12-3. Broncos at home, 13-3. And then it probably doesn't matter for Week 18 at the Raiders. Rest your starters, lose 13-4. So could fall right at what my prediction was. But I think floor 11 wins, ceiling 14 wins. Probably somewhere in that gap. PS4, the new frontier. Is this Orlando's last season in KC? I think he'll be here for at least one more. I think there's a good chance they'll tag him again. If they tag him, it's $20 million, and for 1 year, I think that's worthwhile because you're probably not going to be able to pay for an upgrade at left tackle next year realistically. So I think tagging him again is a pretty reasonable outcome here. If he balls out the rest of the season, maybe a long-term contract happens, but he's kind of done what he did last year. The first half of last year, he was up and down, then he balled out. To start the first half of this year, he's been up and down. We'll see how he plays the rest of the season, but I do think he'll be here for at least one more year. Jay, could we trade for Joe Mixon this offseason for CEH and some picks? I mean, Joe Mixon in this offense would be so good. He just had such a big game for Cincinnati. A, I don't think the Bengals are going to move him, and B, I don't think they have any interest in CEH. I don't know what Mixon would go for on the open market. He's a running back. I don't think he'd be a first-round pick, but he's a big part of the Bengals offense, so I don't think he's going anywhere. Chad Jamison, would you re-sign Juju to a long-term deal? If he keeps playing like this, absolutely. I mean, he's on pace to have over 1,200 yards. Last 3 games, he has about 300 yards receiving total and a couple of touchdowns. He's this team's number 1 receiver right now. Now, he's not a true, alpha male number 1. Look, let's be honest. With Tyreek Hill, he ain't Tyreek Hill. Now, no one is, but Juju's a good player. I mean, I'd give him 2-3-year deal of, 18 to 20 million per year if he'd be willing to take that because he's producing like a number 1 receiver. What move do the Chiefs need to make to keep up with Buffalo down the line? I mean, look, I think the Chiefs are caught up with Buffalo. They lost a close game, and so what? They haven't lost to the Bills in the playoffs yet. Mahomes can go toe-to-toe, if not outplay Allen. In the big games, he has outplayed him. Defensively, I would say, I think down the line, you would certainly want to increase that pass rush. I would give the Bills the defensive advantage, but I would give the Chiefs the slight quarterback advantage. I think in a big do-or-die game, I will take Mahomes over Allen right now. So, I think it's very close between the teams, but the Chiefs have been there and done that, and Buffalo has come up short in the big one. So the Bills got to show me they can do that. But I will say I think this defense still needs to get a little bit better, although I think they've been trending in a pretty good direction. Caden, should the Chiefs look to sign Ndamukong Suh? I mean, maybe that's a piece to add, at least for this year, down the stretch. Now, I will say, Kalen Saunders, he's having a great year finally. He's kind of been on the roster bubble the last couple of seasons. Had a sack against Tennessee, led the team in tackles. But Suh has 12 sacks over the last 2 years. I'm surprised that he has not landed on a roster up to this point. I'll be curious to see if the team signs him. Should the Chiefs sign Suh? What do you guys think? Type S for sign or P for pass. I'm open to it. I don't know what kind of shape he's in, but at worst, he would provide some veteran experience. All right, the past master, Nick Bolton's brother, what a stud. I think you're just saying Nick Bolton, bro, what a stud. Yeah, dude, he's legit, man. I mean, his play to blow up that screen for a loss of 4 to knock the Titans out of field goal range on a drive that if Tennessee scores, they go up 2 scores. Early in the 4th or late in the 3rd, whenever that was a huge play. Sniffed that out, shed the blocker, blew up the running back for a loss of 4. He's fantastic. I mean, he's becoming one of the best off-ball linebackers in the NFL. That was a great pick for Brett Veach. Brian Gales, when will we bring up Danny Shelton if he could help with stopping the run? Yeah, I mean, he could be a guy to give a look. I like how Kalen Saunders is playing for Kansas City. I mean, you could give Shelton a look on a game day, maybe elevate him from the practice squad, see what he can do. I thought the Chiefs did a much better job on Derrick Henry in the second half. I mean, they still have issues stopping the run at times. There's no doubt about it. Want a free jersey? Here's what you got to do. You got to get going with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. You got to sign up by using our link. Go to chatsports.com/ChiefsBet. Got to use that link and then plug in the promo code Chiefs125. Here are the steps to follow in full to get a free jersey. Do what I just said, chatsports.com/ChiefsBet. Plug in the promo code Chiefs125. You got to deposit at least $100, but that's the way to go anyway because you get $125 for free with that 100% deposit bonus with code Chiefs125. Then you place a bet of any kind, $5 or more, Chiefs game, college basketball, literally does not matter. Any bet of any kind. And then email us proof that you've gotten going with BetUS and that you have placed that bet. Jersey@chatsports.com is the email address, and we will hook you up with a brand new jersey. We got Patrick Mahomes jerseys and Travis Kelce jerseys in stock. I think you can get the Mahomes and the white jerseys as well, so a little bit of variety there. Jersey@chatsports.com. After you get going with BetUS, chatsports.com/ChiefsBet, and we will hook you up with the jersey. New customers only with BetUS. If you already have a BetUS account, this is not for you. But if you haven't gotten going yet, here's a little incentive to do just that. Jose B., who would you like the Chiefs to sign in the off-season? I'm not looking super far ahead, but some edge rushers. I'd like to get a pass rusher or two to add to this defense. I think getting a different running back could maybe be in the cards. I think there's a chance Clyde Edwards-Helaire gets cut, is not on this team next year. We'll see what happens there. Those are a couple spots. Maybe add an offensive lineman somewhere along that front as well. Those are a few different positions to monitor. Maybe a safety too, because Juan Thornhill's a free agent. Justin Reed's got 2 more years on his deal, but I do think getting another piece in the back end could make some sense. Jay says, did the Dolphins win the Tyreek trade? I mean, it's hard to say, but he's having an unreal season. The Chiefs got 5 draft picks out of it. We'll see what that turns into. But I told you at the time I wasn't a huge fan of it because I think Tyreek's a generational player, and he's shown that to be the case. Now, the Chiefs would not have been able to sign both Juju and MVS without that trade, but you tell me, would you rather have Tyreek or Juju and MVS? I'd probably take Tyreek. Now, the Chiefs have the number 1 scoring offense this year. Or they did going into against the game against Tennessee, so it's not like the offense has severely struggled. But at the same time, imagine having Tyreek playing the way he is this year with Kelsey, and then maybe you get one of Juju or MVS. It's a tough call. They didn't want to pay him $30 million, and they got to live with the results. But the good news is the Chiefs are still very much a Super Bowl contender. Shout out your city. Let us know where the Kingdom is representing from here on the Chiefs Report. We are here in Dallas, Texas, but we want to know where all of you guys are watching from on these mailbags, so go ahead and let us know in the comments. Got time for a couple more minutes here. Do you think Chanel will replace Willie Gay next year? Well, Willie Gay has 1 more year on his deal. I think he'll still be a starter next year. Willie Gay is a good player. I don't know if Chanel is ready for a full-time role yet, but as your Sam linebacker, your number 3 backer, I like what he can do. Let's continue to see him grow, but I think Bolton and Gay is still going to be your duo next season. Terry Singleton here. Do you think we are out on OBJ? I wouldn't say the Chiefs are out, but they don't need OBJ. I've said that for a couple weeks. They don't need him. Am I interested in him? Absolutely. Do I think it'd be fun to have even another weapon? Sure, you can never have enough weapons. But after trading for Toney, I mean, you've got 6 receivers that can play legitimately. I mean, you got Juju, MVS, McCole Hardman, maybe Sky Moore is probably your worst one right now, but you spent a 2nd-round pick on him. You got Kadarius Toney and Justin Watson, who I still really, really like as a player. So I don't think the Chiefs are out. The question is OBJ in? I think he's probably looking at this like, I can probably get immediate impact and playing time elsewhere. So I'd be mildly surprised if he chose the Chiefs, but I do think that there will still be some mutual interest there. Appreciate the question. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. All right, let's get a few shout-outs here, and then we are going to sign off here on the Chiefs Report. Should Mahomes win the MVP? Type Y for yes. Type N for no. Get your votes in. Cole Keller says yes. Joe Fazio says yes. Robbie says yes. Let's see here. We got RJ saying yes. Lloyd Kirk says yes. So does Dale, Kate Chappell, Sean Hooker. Is that Hendon's brother? RJ, Kate Chappell, Robbie. Appreciate you guys. Ooh, the FLV's coming in from RJ. Always FLV. All right, guys, I'm Harrison Graham. I'm going to get out of here. We're going to sign off here on the Chiefs Report. We will see you next time. Appreciate everybody for tuning in.